when I first came here, we had the food pantry and the after-school program, most of which they happened down here, and it was a person that had been hired that was not part of the congregation, and it always seemed to me that it was two separate animals. So we had the upstairs church, then we talked about God, and there was a downstairs place, and it was a social service agency, and nobody mentioned God. And there was a young girl who was a really beautiful singer. Her name was Esmeralda, and she could sing really well. And one day I said to her, I'm going to have to talk to our music director, Mr. Scott, and I think you should be in the choir. And she said, what's a choir? And I said, well, a choir is the group of people that sings at church. And she said, you have church here? And it was like a light bulb went off. I thought, well, that's really stupid that people don't know what we do on a Sunday morning and at other times during the week with Bible studies and prayer groups and things. And so I began to do some reading and sort of got inspired and asked people in the line what kinds of things would be good for them to feed their souls. And they started talking about prayer and maybe like a little short service. And so one Tuesday in June, 3 years ago, I went into the kitchen and I cooked up a whole bunch of chicken myself and invited anybody that wanted to come in and have dinner and then have a short worship service to join me. And so we began on the first Tuesday of June 3 years ago with about 15 people that first time. There were weeks that we only had 6 or 7. But we now average between 50 to 75 people each Tuesday, not all of whom stay for the worship service. They're not required to. But what often happens is they don't stay the first few times, but when they start to get a little bit more comfortable and they've talked to me a few times and they know I'm not going to jump down their throat, it seems to be really meaningful for people. So we're actually offering word and sacrament ministry because what we believe is that all food comes from the same table. It's all God's table. It's Christ's table. So it's an extension of our communion that we give out food at the food pantry, that we feed dinner to the children at the after-school program, and that we have a meal and a Eucharistic hospitality worship service each Tuesday. Starts at 5:30, and then around 6 o'clock, or when I can tell that people have all been served, we close down the serving area, and then we begin, and we'll sing a very simple song in the beginning. I will read the gospel from the previous Sunday. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll sing another song. I'll gather the prayer petitions from the community, which is when they really come to life, because everybody has something they want us to pray about. And then we pray together, and then we offer communion and a blessing. So